My name is Heather and my mother-in-law is Sharon. She is one of the most entitled and attention-seeking women I know. I have no idea how my husband, her son, Vince, turned out to be such a good man. That was probably due to his father, Philip, who was a great man and loved me. But Vince and Philip were both doormats when it came to Sharon. "Why can't I wear a white dress to your wedding? I am the mother of the bride and should get some attention too. Why do you have to be so selfish and hound the limelight? I should be allowed to wear what I want." That's what my mother-in-law said to me when I vetoed the white wedding dress she was going to wear at my wedding. Sharon had a habit of sabotaging people's big day to get the limelight on herself. When people criticize her, she starts to cry and victimizes herself so that she is forgiven. Yes, she is a narcissist, but she refuses to get checked. Vince and Philip ignore her because they think it's less drama that way. So, Sharon got a free pass to harass me and everyone else in her life. After sabotaging my big days and relationship milestones, she was now attempting to wear a white, sparkly wedding dress to my wedding to Vince. Yes, it was from a bridal boutique, and yes, she actually bought that thing without consulting anyone. She was not happy when I said, "Look, I get it that you are the mother of the groom and want to look good, but the invites clearly say that no one else can wear white, let alone a wedding dress. You are being a bridezilla, Heather. This is no way to speak to your mother-in-law. It won't kill you to have me wear a white dress. You are just scared I will look better than you." This rule applies to everyone, Sharon. You can wear whatever you want, but not white. You need to return the dress and get something else. "Vince, will you let your freaking wife get away with this? She is being a brat." To her surprise, Vince agreed with my sentiments and so did Philip. They made her return the wedding dress and get something in light pink. She sulked, but didn't say much. All good, right? Knowing Sharon? Probably not. I knew her well enough to know that she would get me some other way, and I was not disappointed. One day when we were at her house, she pulled me aside and said, "I need to tell you something important. It's not a request. I want you to do something for me at the wedding." "Okay, what do you want, Sharon?" "You are going to make a special thank you speech for me at your wedding." I was pretty taken aback by what I had just heard. At first I felt that I had imagined the entire thing. Did Sharon really just tell me to dedicate a thank you speech to her? Thank her for what? For ruining my big days and trying to remove me from Vince's life? Nothing made sense to me. Sharon freaking wanted a separate thank you speech. I calmed myself down a bit and said, "I am not sure I heard it right or understood you properly, Sharon. Would you please repeat that for me?" "God, I always knew you were a dense, dumb girl. You don't have to prove me right all the time. I said that I want you to prepare a special speech for me where you will thank me for making your relationship and the wedding happen." But that's not quite true, is it? I don't know what you want me to say, Sharon. I think it would be more appropriate for Vince to say these things. Why don't you talk to him about it? "I know my son, Heather. He will definitely make a special speech for me. But people will expect that since I am such an amazing mother. It needs to come from you because people won't be expecting it. My friends would be so jealous and everyone would think I am such an amazing mother-in-law. This is the least you can do after not allowing me to wear what I want." There it was. Sharon was back at her attention-seeking shenanigans again. She wanted me to pretend that the whole wedding dress fiasco didn't happen. I was baffled by the sheer audacity of this woman. I had no idea why I was still being such a freaking doormat here. And I was slowly getting mad at Vince again for not standing up for me. Now here I had two options. One, I could say no and give Sharon the space to do something even more drastic as an attention-seeking tactic, or I could agree to her dumb demand and figure out how to turn against her, so I asked her for some time and went back home. For an entire week, Sharon kept blowing up my phone with her demands. I was still unsure about what to do. This was adding just way too much stress in my life, and I wanted to scream. Thankfully, one night, Vince noticed these texts and asked me about them. After I told him everything, he was furious. He said, "Heather, you don't have to do this. Ignore my insane mother. She doesn't deserve a thank you speech from you anyway." I know, but I'm scared that if I say no, she'll do something even more drastic. We know how far she can go, Vince. I'm just so helpless right now. I keep waiting for her to mess up my day or do something horrible again. I'm sorry, Heather. I never should have let it go this far. I know you have been under a lot of pressure. This is entirely my fault. I don't know how to help you now. God, I am so stupid. I keep thinking she'll change. She won't change, Vince. She needs help. And she needs to understand that we won't be doormats to her again. I think I will go ahead with the speech she wants so badly. No, 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 Heather. You don't have to lie about my mom being awesome. This is just disrespectful to you. Who said I am going to lie? Vince looked at me confused, but soon realized what I was playing at. He asked me to explain, and I did. I was a little scared that he would get offended or tell me to change my mind, but he just looked amused and told me to go ahead with it. We discussed Sharon a little more and came to a decision. I informed Sharon that I would make a thank you speech for her. The day of the wedding went pretty smoothly, actually. Since I had given in to Sharon's demands, she kept her craziness to a minimum. I immediately knew that I had made the right choice. She was really looking forward to the speech, after which her attention-seeking behavior would start right back. The reception came to a close with the speeches. Vince did his speech and didn't mention Sharon at all. She looked a little annoyed and surprised at that, but when I started the speech, she looked hopeful. I thanked everyone in my life and made a romantic speech about Vince. Sharon looked bored through it all while the others cried. Then came the best part. Sharon was excited because she knew that this was her time to shine. I said, "So now that I have gotten over all the good parts, I will be talking about some unpleasant but important parts of my life with Vince. Sharon has specifically requested me to put this part where I thank her for everything. Like a good daughter-in-law, I decided to grant her this demand." I could see Sharon's face turning sour at what I just said. She could already tell that this speech wasn't going to be something that would bring her positive attention instead of making her feel like a celebrity. I would be airing out all the ridiculous stuff she has done to me over the years. Sharon was looking around trying to find a way to stop me from saying what I would be saying. But there was nothing she could do. Philip actually held her in place and discreetly told her to behave herself. He knew what I was going to do and supported me wholeheartedly, so I continued with my speech. I said, "Sharon and I met when I was still in high school. I was then just a teenager who was very impressionable and also wanted people to like me. I went to meet her with a hopeful attitude because I truly wanted to be a part of her family. Imagine my surprise when she ignored me the whole evening and told me that her son would drop me within a month. You could also imagine her fury when she found out that her prediction didn't come true. I kept coming round the house because, unlike her, Philip welcomed me with open arms. To be honest, I was sad that Sharon didn't like me. I really wanted her to like me. I did my best to make it up to her. Nothing worked. Instead, as the years passed, Sharon turned into the mother-in-law from hell. She became this attention-seeking woman who was out to destroy my life and make herself be the victim. I almost wanted to say no when Sharon demanded a thank you speech, but then I realized that I have a lot of things to be thankful for. So, Sharon, here it is. Sharon, thank you for hiding Vince's car keys and pretending to be sick on our first anniversary. Thank you for fat-shaming me on my graduation and calling me an ugly pig. Thank you for trying to make Vince dump me when I couldn't get into my dream college. Thank you for faking an accident when Vince and I had our 5th anniversary. Thank you for insulting me and making me cry in front of my friends at my college graduation. Thank you for trapping Vince by faking a heart attack when we were about to go on our Hawaii trip. Thank you for hiding my engagement ring and praising yourself for miraculously finding it back. Thank you for destroying the cake at my engagement party. And yes, I have proof you did it. And thank you for trying to wear an expensive wedding dress to my wedding because you wanted to look better than me. Well, want to know why I'm thanking you? It's very simple, Sharon. Every time you hurt me and made my day all about yourself, I understood how vain and shallow you are. Dealing with me made me learn to be patient and grow a thick skin. Your antics made me see how weak you are as a person and how strong I am to tolerate you. And all these actions over the years finally made my dear husband Vince decide to cut off for good. I wouldn't have gotten rid of you if you hadn't been so damn obvious that you will continue this behavior. So thank you, Sharon. Thank you for finally helping yourself out of my life. I said that and closed my speech. All the guests were shocked, while some looked pissed. I'm sure most of them already knew about Sharon's attention-seeking behavior, but didn't think it would be this bad, and the fact that neither Philip nor Vince protested also said a lot about what is true and what is not. People were looking at her with a disgusted look on their faces. Most family members were shaking their heads because they knew about her antics already. Sharon found herself smack dab in the middle of the room being judged by people silently. After a few seconds, she couldn't take it anymore and her real demon self came out. She stood up and started to shout at me. She said, "You witch! How could you humiliate me at my son's wedding like this? How could you do this? Just how you stole my attention on my special days and ruined all the milestones in my life. If you can do it, why can't I? Besides, you asked for this, Sharon. You told me to thank you, and so I did." Lies. These are all lies. People, she is lying to all of you guys. She's just an attention-seeking witch who hates me. All she said were lies. This is trying to ruin my reputation. My guests already didn't believe a word that she was saying. My friends and even some of my colleagues knew about her antics, and some have seen it in person. Other family members already knew her well, and some have been her victims in the past. Her own sister especially was casting her some really nasty glares. Sharon was trying hard to convince everyone that my stories were fabricated. I didn't even have to defend myself, guys. Philip and Vince stood up for me. They said, "Mom, are you seriously calling my wife a liar? I was there when all this stuff happened. I was the one whose attention you wanted most of the time. How can you say Heather is lying?" Sharon, you need to own up to your mistakes and take responsibility. Most of the people here have seen your behavior up close. Almost everyone knows that what Heather said is true. The rest you don't know. Know it today. How dare you two take Heather's side? She did all to humiliate me, and all you were doing is supporting her. She shouldn't have aired our dirty laundry in front of everyone. She did this on purpose. Of course she did this on purpose, Mom. You are the one who demanded and hounded her to write a thank you speech for you. So she made the best of the situation. She told everyone how your ridiculous behavior helped her. Did you expect her to actually fabricate her stories and make you look good? Sharon didn't have an answer to that question, so she resumed throwing insults at me and demeaning me in front of everyone. She thought that by pointing out my flaws, she would make herself look better. Well, newsflash, Sharon. People don't enjoy that shit anymore. What Sharon was doing horrified them and made them madder. Philip and Vince were fuming. Vince said, "That's enough, Mom. You needed to shut up or leave the venue." I have had enough of you today. You insulted my wife for years and didn't even spare her at her own wedding. Look what you are doing now. Don't speak to me like that, Vince. Your wife has insulted me in the worst possible way. And you are taking her side. This is unacceptable. She just wants to be the center of attention and put me down to make herself look good. How could you tolerate this, Vince? None of what you said is true, Mom. I have seen your text to Sharon demanding her to include you in a thank you speech. I know you wanted to steal the limelight today. You won't even accept your mistake, Mom. I have nothing to say anymore. I have defended you even when you were in the wrong. I am not doing that anymore. Heather wasn't lying when she said that I wanted to go no contact with you. I am telling you that in person and front of everyone right now. I am done. Now, this alarmed Sharon to a great extent. Her eyes bulged out and she looked like she was about to have a panic attack. I sarcastically thought it was great that she was turning my wedding into a drama night, but I also had some blame for it. What could I do when Sharon was up my butt making stupid demands that would only hurt her own image? Not that people didn't know her real face, but still, Sharon herself brought this spectacle. Now, she was not at all happy with all the negative attention she was getting. You win some, you lose some, I guess. Sharon won the attention but lost her dignity and her son in the process. She was still delusional, of course. She said, "Vince, you can't just say things like that without meaning it. It's hurtful and horrible, and I am not saying this to hurt you, Mom. I'm serious about this. I can't tolerate your drama anymore. I am done with you. After today, I don't want any contact with you. And if anyone tries to convince me otherwise, they will be blocked too." Vince, don't make rash decisions like that. You can't stop talking to me. I'm your mother. You can't be so ungrateful and abandon me. Oh God, it's not even a full day since you were married and Heather has already taken you away from me. Everyone, are you seeing this? Can you see what a master manipulator Heather is? There it was, the same shit again, blaming me for all the drama my dear mother-in-law brought into her own life. For years, I put up with her horrible behavior because I thought that there was no other way. But now, I had my husband's full support in cutting her toxic presence out of our lives. This knowledge made me feel at least a little better about my situation now. Meanwhile, Sharon's good days were about to end. She was going to face some real consequences for her behavior instead of having people coddle her. And the fallout was definitely becoming even more epic. Vince was almost red in the face from the stupid accusations that Sharon was throwing at him. But before he could get into another argument with Sharon, Philip spoke up. Yes, this demure man who preferred to stay the heck away from his wife and her drama decided to put himself smack dab in the middle of it. What he said was truly shocking. He said, "Shut up, Sharon. Just for God's sakes, shut the hell up. Your erratic and entitled behavior has gone on for a freaking long time already. For once in your life, just shut up and stop victimizing yourself." What the hell, Philip? Why are you shouting at me? Has Heather manipulated you too? Oh God, Heather, what is wrong with you? Why are you influencing my husband too? Don't talk nonsense, Sharon. I have lived with you for 37 years. I know exactly how much of a vain woman you are. No one has to teach me or anyone else anything. Everyone here knows what you are, Sharon. Today, you just drove it home that you won't change. Vince says that he is done with you. I support his decisions and have made one for myself. What? What are you talking about, Philip? I am going to leave you too. I will be filing for divorce. This is enough drama for one lifetime. I don't want any part of it anymore. You will be seeing divorce papers from me very soon, and you will be vacating my home within this month. Sharon couldn't believe what she was hearing. In one night and within a few minutes, she had lost both her son and her husband. She had in no universe ever imagined it happening. Narcissists rarely think that people will ever abandon them. This woman was all kinds of insane anyway. Since Vince and Philip never really stood up to her, she thought that she could push their buttons and never face any backlash. Well, she was wrong again. My husband already proved that he had a spine of steel, and now Sharon's husband showed it too. Sharon finally realized that she had messed up big time. At first, she couldn't believe Philip's words. She said, "You want to leave me? Over that witch Heather? Over a stupid freaking speech? Are you insane, Philip?" "No, I am not insane, Sharon. You are the insane one here. I have given you multiple chances over the years to amend your behavior and change yourself. I have lost friends and family because of your selfish and entitled behavior. But I will not tolerate this anymore. I won't lose my only freaking son and my daughter-in-law because of you." "Philip, you were not thinking straight. All I wanted was some validation that Heather wants me in her life and is thankful for my support in her relationship. I promise I won't ever do it again. Heather made a big deal out of nothing." Heather, Heather, Heather. This is all I hear from you, Sharon. All you do is blame Heather for your freaking mistakes. You want to portray this as a one-time thing? You want to say that Heather is the one who intentionally spoiled your image? Okay then, let me prove you wrong. Everyone here who knows us, would you like to remind my crazy soon-to-be ex-wife here of any stories you have about her behavior? I wasn't mad at all. This was the wedding of the century. Almost all my guests who knew Sharon had something or the other to say about her. Yes, they all had some crazy stories where Sharon intentionally sabotaged their big days or exposed her attention-seeking behavior. Family members had the worst stories, of course. I was slowly realizing why the extended family never kept much contact with Philip and Sharon or even Vince. They only resumed contact with me and Vince after we got into a relationship. Turns out they were tired of having to deal with Sharon's behavior, so they decided to stay away. Hell, even Sharon's own friends, whom she made me forcefully invite, had some bizarre stories about her sabotaging behavior. Everyone had a field day reminding Sharon about what she had done. She was overwhelmed and started to cry and apologize to everyone. Philip said to Sharon, "Now, do you have any more doubts about why I'm leaving you?" "Philip, please, I know I have done some horrible things in life, but I will change. Please don't do something so drastic. Vince, please ask your father to consider your poor mother." "You are not some poor mother, Mom. And no, I support Dad completely, so I am not going to make him change his mind. You are on your own." Sharon was stuck apologizing to the crowd while also begging and pleading with both Vince and Philip for forgiveness. The guests were disgusted at her and her antics. She even tried to ask me for forgiveness, but I just moved away from her. In the end, everyone's words became too humiliating for Sharon to handle, so she cried and ran out of the venue. No one went after her. After her departure, our party continued as usual. The reception was almost done, so it's not like any part of my wedding got spoiled. The guests didn't mind the drama, and neither did I. As the days passed, Sharon realized that both Vince and Philip meant every word they said. Vince and I blocked her on all our social media and phones. She was turned away from the door when she came begging and crying for help. Why was she asking us for help? Well, as Philip said, he was divorcing Sharon and making her homeless. The house belonged to him because it was a part of his inheritance, so it was not a marital asset. Philip and Sharon both had jobs, so there is no case for alimony either. Sharon would soon be homeless and wanted us to take her in or something. Since she was busy spending her money on beautifying herself, she had almost zero savings and couldn't even afford a lawyer anymore. That made me chuckle a little when I remembered how she always put me down for dressing and living plainly. I guess living in opulence was finally catching up to her. Yes, Sharon did recognize her wrongs, but it was hard to tell. People like her need their heads examined, and we didn't stick around anymore to find out if she did. A year has passed since Philip divorced her, and he is already dating an amazing woman. Me and Vince got a promotion at our jobs and finally bought a new house. Thankfully, Sharon has stayed away from us. Actually, she does call and text sometimes, but we never answer. She has moved in with a distant relative of hers because she was the only one who offered her any sort of assistance. She now lives far away in a different state, and I hope she never comes back.